Well, here we are again. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I have an amazing guest today. Her name is Ashley Sard, and she comes to us with a bachelor's degree in business administration. She is an Air Force veteran. Thank you for your service, Ashley. And she was a EMT there, emergency medical technician, then came out and got involved as a program specialist assistant with the Veterans Administration. She's been a CPR instructor for the American Heart Association. She's a registered medical assistant and now serves as a community partnership specialist, continuing to serve veterans in our country. Welcome, Ashley. I'm so grateful that you joined us today.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for that introduction, Linda. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I would love to hear about your background and how did you come to get into the military and tell us about your what's been happening since then.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, and when I tell people this story, so I'm an Army brat. My dad served 20 years in the Army, worked on tanks, did a bunch of stuff that he has shared with me over the years. And I think at some point he was concerned as to whether I was going to go to college or actually vacate the building and actually leave the house, like, and become an adult. And so it was either you go to college or and it wasn't join the military. It was you join the Air Force.
Oh,
And
okay.
my dad, according to him, there was no other branch as a girl. It was just
Really?
the Air Force, yes. So
Okay. Interesting.
yeah, well, and I kind of understood it because I was back in 2000, 2001, so I can understand where he was coming from. Um, so, and my brother followed in his footsteps, so I was the only one that joined the Air Force. So I get a lot of
Okay.
teasing, but I think that comes with the territory between us vets. So
Okay. Did you know when you went in what you wanted to do?
I had no idea.
Okay.
I gave my dad a really hard time for because I did apply for a college, and I didn't get in. So he said, "All right, I'm taking you to the recruiter tomorrow." And I said, "Okay." I kind of told him an idea of what I wanted, what I had in mind of kind of what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I said, I'm trusting in your hands. And when we went to the recruiter's office, they had a conversation and somehow it worked out. My dad the 4 and 0 job series is what I ended up getting, and it
Wow.
worked out perfectly. So,
Awesome. And so how long were you in and why did you get out and what have you been doing since then?
so I was medically retired after 15 years.
Okay.
I started having some medical conditions come about, and it was kind of right after we had our second child, my daughter. And I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. I was
Yeah.
needed to pivot, and so after 15 years, I was medically retired. I took a few months to kind of regroup, so to speak, because it's a really difficult transition.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Especially for a woman,
Mhm.
and for me too. I don't know about other women that were in the military, but in the medical service, it's mostly women.
Yeah.
It's providers, nurses, technicians, and you're very close knit. So you go from having that camaraderie and that interaction every day to nothing.
Yeah. Right.
It
Right.
it was very difficult. So I think I
Okay.
just took some time to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. Um, and I was kind of a nerd. I updated my resume and I kept it on me. And everywhere I went, whether it was on McDill or at the gas station, I had my resume ready and said, hire me. I did all this stuff in the military. But it wasn't that easy. It wasn't
Really?
that. No,
Wow.
I think because we get the experience, right? We do a lot in the military. Our scope is so much broader than it is, for example, in comparison to a EMT on the outside versus
Right.
an EMT on in the military. And so trying to put all that into a resume, and you don't have certifications necessarily, you just have the
Right.
experience. And you just,
Right.
so we kind of shortchange ourselves and say, well, I don't have a degree, I just have the experience. But that experience goes a long way. But how do you put that on a resume and do it in such a manner that, hey, Linda, here's my resume, and you're blown away by just the experience
Yeah.
without being a degree or a certification?
Right. Well, especially in the medical field, because in the United States, you've got to have that piece of paper, even though you probably know more than anybody who's gone to school,
Yeah.
and just getting out of school. I mean, but to some degree, because you got trained to do what you did in there, it's not like you didn't go to school. It's just a different certification, right?
Well, yes. So yes and no. I mean, they've gotten. I think they've made changes, at least with the Air Force. I always said the Navy did it right, because their corpsmen, they're certified in pretty much anything right off the bat.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
they're very versatile. They can work in a clinic today and then work on the ward tomorrow, right?
Wow, nice.
For us, it was more specific. So, for instance,
Okay.
I worked in a pediatric clinic for 2 years, and I just learned pediatrics and the different components to that, which is good,
Yeah,
but
right.
I couldn't backfill a position in the hospital because I would have no clue what I was doing. So,
Right.
I think now the Air Force they're giving that certification and they're offering those opportunities while the service member is serving, so that when they are out of the military, they do have that piece of paper.
Oh,
Uh,
yay. That's
yeah,
great. That's great. Because I'm a counselor and I used to be a career counselor, and the last resume I did for a veteran coming out with your background, they hadn't done that yet. This was many years ago. So it was a matter of having to go back to the technical school, go back through the courses, and it was so redundant and really kind of a waste of time and money to some degree. But
yeah.
you have continued in this path, continued to serve, and you mentioned kids. How many kids do you have?
I have two teenagers. They keep me
Oh,
very yeah.
yes. There's a challenge right there. Okay, and I know because you've been helping with our veteran ladies support group, bringing us all kinds of great services and great resources from Florida. So you're from Florida, right?
Well, I guess I should claim it now. I've been here for 14 years, but I think originally I used to say I'm from Texas because I spent most of my
Okay,
life in Texas. But
okay.
I'll
But
claim
now you're claiming Florida. Okay, great. So tell us now about what you're passionate about and what you're actually doing now that sparks joy for you.
I think I've always had the same passion just to help people, whether
Mhm.
that be man, woman, in the military or not, child, infant. It's just always been, I've just always been that kind of person. So, when I transitioned to the VA, working with the Women Veterans Program was really a good opportunity for me to get my experience in outreach, and it just clicked. That was the light bulb for me. That was the aha moment. I was like, this is what I meant to do.
Ah,
Um, and I continue to serve veterans today, just in a different, different different manner, so to speak.
right.
I went from working with the VA, and now I work for a wonderful nonprofit, Empath Health under Suncoast Hospice. But they're more than just hospice. And I've learned that. I've been with them since May, and I've learned that every one of them, from the individuals that I work with on my team to all the way up to the corporate lead, They're just very compassionate people. They
Right.
care. They care for others, veterans, their caregivers, family members. So it just made sense for me to kind of pivot and transition to
Right.
that.
I I looked at
Um,
there, and I'm going to
so
put.
I
Oh,
serve
uh,
now.
I'm sorry, we had a little glitch there for a moment. Sorry about that. I put their
Okay.
website up there because it is so impressive to the way that they explain what they do and the care and compassion. I really appreciated that. So, not surprising that you're a great fit. So, what do you particularly do for this organization?
So it's very similar to what I did at the VA as far as doing outreach, making those connections, what we call boots on ground, because I feel like outreach is really the belly button, right? If you're at a resource table and you're meeting someone, that's that first interaction they have. They see your face and they say, "What do you do?" And then you go into what it is. And with Impact, there's hospices all over the state of Florida, but truly what we offer is full care support. We do these presentations, know us before you need us, hospice myths versus facts, right? So that we are educating not just the people that we work with, but the community. You may need hospice now, but know about our services so that when you do need that, we're here for you. The same thing with our grief counseling services, and because we're a nonprofit, everything that we provide, for the most part is free of service. You can call today and talk to someone on our call center, let them know what's going on, and they can point you in the right direction. And I think just for me, it's getting that word out and trying to break those barriers of the word hospice because people hear it and they automatically
Yeah.
associate to it,
Yeah,
um,
right.
which isn't always necessarily the case. There's so much more to it. So,
Right. And is Empath Health, again, I'm going to put that up for a sec. Are they just in Florida?
yes.
Okay. So for you Florida people, it sounds like a great service and it's just for veterans?
No, we service everyone. We
Oh,
service,
wow. Okay.
yeah, we're in so many different counties. I cover Hillsborough County, and my primary target population are veterans, but we service everyone,
Okay.
from
Wow.
the bottom of the state all the way up to the top. So,
What a great organization. And I'm just going to pop up your email too. So if you wanted to contact Ashley personally, it's asard@empathhealth.org. So you can do that. But what a great service that you're doing right now. So that's your main passion. What do you, now you showed up, and I so appreciate it to our female women veterans support group that some of the veterans that I know, I personally am not a veteran. I started this podcast because I'm very, very grateful for those of you who have served. I've been working with veterans for over 30 years now, and I know there's a need. And I'm sure with all of the care that you have given, you have seen some of the trauma that female veterans go through and the transition challenges and the mental health issues. So I thank you for joining that. But do you think that is as much of a problem as some people say, as far as women veteran transitioning and having issues like PTSD?
oh, absolutely. I think for veterans in general,
Yeah.
it's huge. I don't think there's enough awareness, um, in general about what veterans go through. And it could be you served for a year, you served for 30. I
Yes.
don't I don't think there's a way to say you suffered more because you served longer or vice versa. There is just a certain you know stigma to it, I suppose.
Right.
And they're definitely, I think we're getting better, specifically with raising awareness when it comes to PTSD and MST, as it correlates to suicide as well. But I think we still have a long ways to go. I'm grateful for people like you that have support groups for women who have podcasts like this, to allow people like me to share my passion. And I only do it in hopes that I can help make that connection for someone else. Even if it's not something that I can offer them, someone else can.
Absolutely. You mentioned the acronym MST, and I had not heard of that. I don't know when it came to be an acronym, but with the work that I've done in working with homeless veterans and actually housing homeless veterans in the homes that my husband and I have had in the past, my first female veteran that I helped get her disability was military sexual trauma. That's what MST means. And the numbers are staggering how many women have had that experience. So some people think that post-traumatic stress is only about getting shot somewhere. But there's a lot more trauma that goes on, isn't there?
There is, yeah. I mean, trauma just, there's people that are going to laugh when I say, but I mean, just going through basic training was traumatic.
I can imagine.
you know, um,
Yes.
Getting deployed, having a child when I was in the military was traumatic. I was overseas when I had my son. He was born in
Oh,
Okinawa. So,
oh my goodness.
not a bad trauma, obviously, but a traumatic experience, and then
Oh,
there are other things that you're exposed to as when you're in the service, depending on your branch and your specialty, that kind of predisposes you to other situations. And
yes.
just not, there's a lot of resources out there. I can speak at least on behalf of the state of Florida. There's a plethora of resources. It's
Right.
just the word out there so the veterans know, because
Yes.
just don't know.
Right.
Um,
Right.
um,
That is one of the things that I will be attaching on the podcast messages. So when people come on to look at the different podcasts, we're going to have a link with a growing amount of resources on it. So if you're watching this podcast, listening to it wherever, and you have some resources that you don't see on the link that we are going to share with you, please let us know so we can add to it, because we don't know them all, and there's new ones coming up, and perhaps you're a nonprofit that offers some support somewhere in the nation. Like we had people when the word finally got out that our organization was taking homeless veterans. We had a guy from Texas that hitchhiked to Wausau, Wisconsin. And we actually had two people that came from out of, and it's like, how in the world did you hear about it? One of them heard through the VA, and the other one just, I don't know, found it online somewhere and had no desire to come to cold Wisconsin from Texas, but they were there and got transitioned and got back on their feet and got healthy. And it's just really pretty neat to see that just having a resource and a caring place to go and that support can save a life, literally save a life. Now, the one thing that you had shared with our support group that none of the other women even knew about was the women memorial. Can you talk about that for a sec?
oh, I could talk all day about that. um, So I had the privilege of meeting Phyllis Wilson, who is the president of the Women's Memorial up in Virginia. And it is for women who have served, who are serving, to share their stories. It's really neat because, you know, I've come in contact with other women. I can submit it and they'll share it. Um, but it's just another way for women to have their space, so to speak. You know, you've got
Nice.
the National Archives, and you've got these other, entities that can take your story, but it's nice for us to have our own kind of centralized place. And if you ever get the chance, I've not been able to, it's on my bucket list. If you ever get the chance to go visit, I highly recommend it. It's beautiful, and it's one of those experiences that you just have to experience in person. So I am definitely pushing that out. I'm trying to get as many women veterans to share their stories as possible. Um,
Wonderful, wonderful. And I didn't put that link here, but I will put it in the resource guide. What is the name of it? Women's Veteran Memorial?
I will let me look that up. I want to make sure I get it right. If you're going to be
Okay.
posting as well, let me make sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I can.
And I think I can create a banner right here. Otherwise, I will just put it in the chat where we are going to be. It's in Virginia, so it is not only online, but you can actually go visit it.
Absolutely, yep. It
Oh,
is the
wow.
Military Women's Memorial, and they're doing this push that says her story,
Okay.
because they really just want women to go on there and talk about their stories. But the really cool thing, like I said earlier, I could go on there as a veteran and I could share someone else's story. So if we have veterans who have passed and I have their story, they have a list of names of women that have not had their stories fulfilled because they passed away too soon. So if you wanted to
Oh,
help, be on that project, do the research, and
oh,
it's
how
just one of those
cool.
things that as a veteran and for the family members to leave that behind for them, it just
Oh my
really.
goodness. That's really awesome. I just put my good friend to rest. I'm gonna get choked. And I would love to share her story. That would be awesome. So I could submit that directly to them or to you or
I can show you how to do it. Yeah, it's very simple,
oh,
and once you create an account, you have 90 days once you create it to kind of finish submitting it because they understand that you're probably doing research, you're getting dates and times and locations. I'd be more than happy to walk through that with you. I think that would be a wonderful way to honor your friend.
oh, very cool. That's awesome. Well, that's great. Anything else you want to let our audience know, Ashley, before we wrap up?
I just want to thank you for your time, Linda, and what you do. I
Oh,
think it's amazing. I'm so glad that I kind of stumbled upon your group and that I've been able to bring a couple friends along the way. I hope to
yeah,
continue to bring more and make it as big and as big as we can and really just take
yes.
over.
Well, thank you so much, Ashley. And I too am amazed at how that kind of thing happens. I did not put anything on that. Where did you find it again?
I think
On
it was Eventbrite, I think, maybe.
yeah, Eventbrite. I didn't post it, but I sent out, hey, if you want to post this, go ahead. And somebody did, and you saw it. To me, that's kind of one of those miracle things that it's like whatever's meant to be is going to be.
Yeah.
And I think that higher power is watching out for whoever needs it. And I'm so grateful that you found us and joined us and are offering these great resources. So thank you again for your time. Thank you for your service. And God bless you in your ongoing service to the people who need you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay, take care, Ashley.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.